So we continue with the beautiful Krishna Leela that has just started, and we saw the first beautiful Leela of Putana Moksham. So, in fact, Shuka Brahmam, when he concludes it, he says, Ya etat Putana Moksham Krishnasya Arbakarma Adbhutam. So, we saw in the beginning itself, when Krishna appears, it says, Tam Adbhutam Balakam. And every Leela is Adbhutam. Adbhutam means that which is wonderful, that which completely stops the mind, that which is most charming. So every Leela of Krishna is Adbhutam. So the first one is Putana Moksham. And it is called Putana Moksham, as we see, not Putana Vadham, because Putana is liberated. So anyone who comes into contact with the divine is liberated, and that is the grace of Bhagavan, that he liberates even those who come to harm him. And this is also seen in the case of great Bhagavatas. We already saw the story of Ambarish, who extended his grace to Durvasa, who wanted to kill him. So Bhagavan and all the great jnanis and bhaktas always extend their grace not only to those who come with love, but even to those who come to harm them. And after Putana Moksham, Shuka Brahmam takes a pause, and Parikshit offers his appreciation of what he has heard so far. Shuka Brahmam wants to hear from Parikshit, and Parikshit says very beautifully that everything you're saying is so charming to the ear, so please give us more. So every time Shuka Brahmam wants Parikshit to draw out more, because it is only the listener who draws out from the speaker. It is the interest and the sincerity of the listener that makes the speaker speak. And therefore, Parikshit here says, all the exploits of Bhagavan are charming to the ear, and therefore, if you think fit, please narrate every story that removes all kinds of cravings. It purifies the mind, it increases devotion, and it develops friendship with all devotees. So these are all the qualities that are developed by listening to Krishna Katha. He says first, ena avatarena Bhagavan Haririshwaraha karoti karna ramyani manogyani chanaf prabho. So it's karna ramyani, it pleases the ears, and manogyani, it enlightens the mind. All the stories of Bhagavan. And then he says, Yet Shrunvato apaiti arati vitrishna sattvam cha shuddhyati chirena pumsaha bhakti harau tat purushecha sakhyam tadeva haram vada manyase chet. So, such beautiful verses in Bhagavatam which bring out at every step of the way not only the stories and the pastimes, but the purpose of it and what comes out of it. Here, Parikshit says, Yet Shrunvato apaiti arati, all suffering goes away by listening to this. Sattvam cha shuddhyati chirena pumsaha. Goodness comes and the mind is purified. Bhakti harau tat purushecha, and therefore devotion, divine love grows. Sakyam tadeva haram vada manyase chet. Sakyam means friendship. He says friendship also comes with devotees. So one of the great things of satsang is we have true friendship with those who are all interested in Bhagavan. And that friendship takes everyone together to the same destination of inner self-realization. And when we listen to such stories too, as we see, we get not only love for Krishna, but love for Yashoda, love for Nanda, love for all the gopis. Everyone who honors Krishna, everyone who is devoted to Krishna, reveals to us how one can live life in devotion, and thereby we get devoted to the devotees as well. So, in this way, Parikshit asks Shuka Brahmam to describe more. So, Shuka Brahmam, very pleased, now continues with Krishna Leela. He says, next, every step of Krishna's journey is filled with so many Leela. So, next, he says, Krishna, there was a celebration because after a few months, Krishna turned over. So, when a baby turns over, it is celebrated, and therefore, Krishna turning over, especially, is great source of joy. So, Nanda and Yashoda, they organized a great celebration, invited everyone, fed everyone nicely. All the music was played as always, just like Nandotsava. And there was a cart full of all the dairy that was kept, curds and milk and all the rest. And Krishna was made to sleep under the cart. After all this was over, while the celebration was still going on, Yashoda thought Krishna is full and he's a baby, so he needs to take a nap. So she puts him under this cart. But Krishna apparently is hungry. He wakes up and he cries for milk. And because there is so much sound, there is so much music and Vedic chants and all that playing, Yashoda does not hear the cry of Krishna, and because of that, apparently angry, Krishna kicks the cart. And as soon as he kicks the cart, it is said that the small baby kicking the cart, the entire cart tumbles and everything in it falls down, and everyone runs seeing what happened. So what it says is, Shuka Brahmam says, there was a demon called Shakatasura. Shakata actually means cart. So he was someone who was cursed that he'll be unembodied as a ghost. And therefore he cannot take a body. He has to roam around as a ghost. And he was told that he'll be liberated by Krishna. So because of this happened. He didn't know this, but he was told by Kamsa to go kill any baby. So he found the celebration happening just as Putana came. He came, found this, and his plan was to get into the cart and make the cart fall over this baby and crush the baby. But of course, Krishna, in this pretense of being hungry and asking for milk and getting angry, all of this being a very pretension, with this, he kicks the cart and the entire cart falls and Shakatasura is liberated. And Shakatasura, in an unembodied form, after he is liberated, offers his obeisance and leaves. All the Gopas and Gopis come. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they all come, and they all see that this little baby is there and the whole cart is toppled over, everything is fallen down, and they are all shocked. They, of course, always think some harm can happen to Krishna. They think it was an accident, and Krishna was just protected by divine grace, that nothing fell on him. So as we can see again and again, whether it was the Putana episode and now and going forward, every time the Gopas and Gopis, Yashoda, Nanda, Rohini, all of them, they are only looking to protect Krishna. So the most amazing thing is, the one who protects everyone, the one who is the divine supreme order of the whole universe, they take the position of wanting to protect him. And that is the mode of devotion, is that they do not even look upon him as the supreme Lord. They look upon him simply as a baby who needs to be protected. And Krishna sweetly reciprocates that love by letting them have this wonderful joy of protecting him in Vatsalya Rasa. So they all come and take him, and Yashoda immediately takes him on his lap, gives him milk, and all the Gopas, they do their own rituals. The boys there, though, they see it. The boys who are playing nearby, the young kids, they tell Nanda and Yashoda that no, it's nothing happened. In fact, Krishna is the one who kicked the cart and it all fell down. But they don't believe it. They say, What are we talking about? How can a little baby kick the cart? You don't know what you're, they just don't even believe the boys. And it goes on. Then immediately Nanda, in order to remove any evil and remove any negative spirits as he feels, he invites a lot of Brahmanas, the Vedic priests who can chant mantras, and they all chant, and then he gives them gifts. And he, because they chant and they invoke the blessings, he feels very good. He feels very simply, and this is very true. He says, anyone who is free of envy, anger, hypocrisy, jealousy, violence, if they come and chant and give blessings, it's always going to invoke positive energy. So, in fact, there is an important pointer here that when anyone comes and engages in any Vedic ritual or any invocation, they have to be very free of all these negative qualities. If it's done purely for monetary purposes and they do not have this mood, then the mantras don't have the effect. So here it says, Shuka Brahmam says, Ye asuya andrita damba irshya himsa mana vivarjitaha na tesham satyashilanam ashisho vipalakritaha. So when one is free of all this, asuya means envy, andrita is lying, damba is pride, himsa is violence, vivarjitaha. When one is free of all this, satyashila, and one is abiding in truth, their blessings is always without fail creating the positive effect. So that is the most important quality in anyone who chants mantras of any kind, is that they first remain in truthfulness and free of all these negative qualities, and then the blessings invoked create the right energy. So Nanda knows that these people whom he invited are of that nature. So he is very happy that they invoked such blessings. And then after that, they go. Then the next Leela is the beautiful Leela of Trnavrta that also happens in the same chapter. So Shuka Brahmam gives this Leela. Some time goes by, and one day Yashoda is keeping Krishna on his lap, and suddenly Krishna's weight increases. It increases to the point where Yashoda doesn't understand what's happening. She cannot hold Krishna on her lap. So, because of the immense weight of Krishna on her lap, she has to put him aside next to her. And as soon as she puts him aside, it is said that there is a huge whirlwind, like a twister kind of wind, that picks up. And it is in fact a demon called Trnavrta. So this is a demon who takes the form of a whirlwind, and he is also another friend of Kamsa who is looking for little baby. So he sees this baby here. So he comes and he generates this massive wind. Nobody can see anything, everything is flying around. And Krishna again makes himself very light now once he has been put on the floor by Yashoda. So because of the lightness of Krishna, he picks up Krishna, and there is utter commotion everywhere. Nobody can see anything, and there is everything flying around, objects flying around, and so on. Then Yashoda suddenly perceives that Krishna is not there. This wind has picked him up, and then he sees a form of the wind taking a form like a demon, and she sees that little baby with him. So she is so aggrieved and she almost faints. Whereas what Krishna does is he again increases his weight. So first he increased his weight. So the reason he did it is, it is said that if he didn't increase his weight, if he had remained a light baby on the lap of Yashoda, he would have picked up Yashoda along with Krishna. So in order to make sure Yashoda is not harmed, he first increased his weight so that Yashoda would put him on the side and she is not harmed. Then he remained light so that this Trnavrta could pick him up. And once he picked him up, he again increased his weight so massively that Trnavrta didn't know what was happening. He held on to the neck of Trnavrta. Trnavrta couldn't let him go. He was trying to throw him away, but Krishna would just hold him completely like something that is stuck to his neck, and he was choked just as Putana was. This Trnavrta, this giant demon, was choked in this way, and his eyes popped out and he died. And when Trnavrta falls down, again Krishna simply regains his normal light baby form, and everyone goes there, and again they see one more thing that has happened, and once more Krishna is protected, and Yashoda regains her consciousness. She is very happy, and immediately she takes him, puts him on her lap and gives him milk. And the amazing thing is Krishna again here, later it will come even more in the next episode, but here itself Shuka Brahman indicates that when Yashoda gives him milk, after drinking milk, Yashoda opens his mouth to see his charming smile. And when he opens his mouth, she sees, as he is yawning, he just drinks milk, he's yawning, and she looks into the mouth and she sees within the mouth the sky, the stars, the moon, all the luminaries, the sun, the air, the entire universe is seen within his mouth. This is the first time. The next time she will see when he eats dirt, which is a more famous episode. But this is the first time Shuka Brahman says Yashoda has just a glimpse. And when she gets this glimpse, she is not sure what she is seeing. Within a second, it goes away. And so Yashoda thinks she is in some kind of hallucination. She thinks this is my baby, and how can all this be possible? I'm just hallucinating here. And then she's just saying, I need to just take care of Krishna. And she gives him milk and puts him to sleep. And with this beautiful episode of Trnavrta also ends. So at every episode, you see how all the rasas are coming out, where Krishna, on the one hand, slays these demons effortlessly with his power, on the other hand, remains as a baby. So this is also symbolic in that Bhagavan is fierce to those who are caught in their ego, and he is soft and flower-like to those who come to him with love. So it really is a question of our approach that matters. If we approach him with love, he becomes like a baby, he becomes a friend, he becomes our own lover. But if we approach him with the intent of lording over, then he comes as the fierce force. We can see how, if we look back at how Krishna came as Narasimha, and we can see this baby, it's almost unfathomable to imagine that the fierce form of Narasimha with the Ugra Rupa and this little baby are the same divine supreme being. And that is the glory of Bhagavan, is that he can appear as the most fierce form and also as the most gentle form. It really depends on how we approach him. And therefore, if we approach him like Yashoda with love, then he reciprocates that love, and we can have a sweet, loving relationship with Krishna, with Bhagavan. And that relationship only takes us within, frees us of our egoic identification, and effortlessly makes us realize his true nature as the indwelling, all-pervading Supreme Being.